He's Yo.
Good morning, comrade.
That's fine.
The HIVLP New Orleans 102.3. It's Good Morning, Comrade. Sorry, Robert. I didn't mean to
No, it's fine. Please start the show because I'm hot. I'm tired. Like, it's unbearable. I took my dog for a walk.
It is.
And my cat.
It is July. It is officially July in New Orleans, baby.
My cat was following me, panting. Like, my cat was like overheating because he likes to follow us on walks or whatever. Mm-hmm. But he's like, it's too hot. Like, cats are desert animals, and it's too fucking hot for him. Mm-hmm. It's brutal. I'm sorry. It's never been this hot. Like, people are like, oh, it's always fine. Yeah, did I curse already?
It's so hot you made it 40 seconds into the show before cursing.
Oh, it's terrible. I just came out of I'm just out of the shower right now went directly from the gym to taking the dog for a walk to like recording the show, and it's miserable. Like it scrambles your brain. I'm sorry, it's never been this hot. It just hasn't.
It's the hottest it's ever been. The block has never been hotter.
No, it really is. It's so bad.
Yeah. What's up, man?
Cool stuff. I don't know, just trying to find some kind of meaning in late stage capitalism like everybody else.
Yeah.
How's that goofiest thing ever. Not so great. Like I don't know. I mean, no, I can't say that. I can't say it's not so great. I don't know if you can hear that. My Discord is like going crazy right now. Hopefully you can't hear that. One of my friends, she plays this like Chinese Korean play to win mobile game, like one of those ones you see like ads for, like when you're it's like, because the only things there's advertising now is like what Ozempic, see Holy Trinity, Ozempic, play to win mobile games, and online sports betting.
Yeah.
And she plays one of those
worst things, really.
Seriously. And I realized because she was trying to get me into it, and I'm like, I have no desire to play this. This is just like a job that you have to pay for. But the reason why she's into it, finally, I figured it out after. She got me an account because somebody finally gave up the addiction and quit. And so they have this like super powered account, and they're like, oh, you could have it if you want. And I'm like, I guess, just to be nice. I like spending time with my friends, but it's a third space. And it just made me realize how there's no third spaces. So it's just everybody on a Friday night hanging out in the Discord. And I'm just like, this is a crazy way to spend your time. But who am I to judge? But it's just like
ain't going to no bars, ain't going to no clubs.
Yeah,
it's too expensive. You're playing the play to win games.
Playing the win game. But it kind of inspired me, not just that, but I have made my own video game. It's called, it's going to be releasing on Google Play Store very soon. It is a birding game, like bird watching. Yeah, I send it to everybody. Like testing is going to start pretty soon. Okay. But it's called Warble 99. No, it's not going to have any predatory microtransactions. You just like identify birds with like a real field guide that I built that has real bird information, but the field guide's written by a 14-year-old who is in the year 1999 who wrote the whole thing in GeoCities.
Okay.
So that's why it has like a weird look to it. But it's like it inspired me to like do a thing, because we were talking about like coding, offline. And I took a couple coding classes. I understood barely a little bit past like Hello World, but not much else. And I built the whole thing with AI, and it's still like it's not easy. Like coding is much harder to do, obviously. Like it's a whole language to learn, but like you're still making design choices, and you're still like having to like figure out where the bugs are, and just, like I need this fixed this type of way, and trying to communicate with a thing that only speaks ones and zeros. But yeah, it's just like I can't wait for the video game crash. It's the one part of this dystopia that I said this all in a roundabout way, because with Sony saying they're not going to have disc anymore for their PlayStation their PlayStation consoles, to where Microsoft is probably going to follow suit because they're taking such a bath on buying all these studios up. It's crazy, and it's just one more. It's one more point of failure of capitalism. There's much more I could go into, but you asked me what's going on.
So I am sort of like on the Sony thing. Like, I don't want to sound like a contrarian or anything like that, but like,
please
I feel
do.
Like,
because I'm ready to fight you to the death on this.
Oh, I'm not going to say, like, dude, if people are mad at Sony and they want to like give some like go do collective action against Sony because they're taking away physical media, like, I'm cool with it. I just sort of feel like and I'm a guy right now, like, most of my games are like either on Steam or on the Switch. Steam is no physical media at all, right? And like, I feel like a lot of that ship, I mean, and again, this is not me like being critical of anybody who's, you know, mad about Sony like taking it away, because it becomes a ownership rights question, which is the same thing that happened in the early 2000s with Napster and DMCA. I just sort of feel like this is really late in the game to start getting kind of mad about it. You know what I mean? And like by all means, be mad about it and do something about it. I'm just sort of like interested in why this is the moment where it's like it's like clicking with everybody. You know what I mean?
Okay. I mean, there's definite answers to that, and it's because you have to kind of go. It's not even the video game rabbit hole. You have to go into the capitalism rabbit hole. But there's the answers to what you're saying. I am also not a digital media guy. As you look about, if you're watching this on Twitch right now, if you're watching this, I have all kinds of media behind me. I've got video games, I've got books, I've got the whole bit. But all the video games as a 45-year-old man that I play are on my hard drive. Like, I'm a digital hoarder. But here's the difference between what Steam does and what PlayStation does. So first of all, and it's not just PlayStation. It's, you know, Nintendo.
It's everybody.
It's the three big players, right? Nintendo, Microsoft with the Xbox, and Sony. Well, okay, so Steam. Those of you who don't know, if you're a WHIV normie that doesn't, you know, everybody plays video games, but not everybody's a gamer.
Valve, right?
Yeah, but it's an online marketplace. Think of it as an Amazon Prime for video games, right? So you buy your video game on this outlet, and the video game gets downloaded directly to your computer's hard drive, and you have it there forever. So there's huge differences between what they're doing, and we could talk about the ethics of Steam and how much they're taking way too much for the service they provide.
There's issues there.
They're an oligopoly, all that. We can talk about that, but let's just, you know, I don't want to be like Gabe Newell, the guy who owned the CEO, is like the greatest guy ever, but I'm just saying he's light years ahead of the big three, and for a couple reasons. One, the platform can never be a monopoly or an oligopoly because Steam is competing against all the things are on your PC. So they're competing against other outlets who are doing the same thing. Good Old Games. They're competing against Epic, which nobody buys from Epic, but still, it's Xbox, still out there.
Even Xbox, like Microsoft, is in the PC realm.
They're competing against, so they're competing against Microsoft, who has their like Xbox Live Now, whatever they call it. We can just download directly. You can buy stuff directly. So they're competing against piracy.
Which, by the way, Microsoft sucks, and they fund the Israeli military, so don't use their stuff.
Yeah, I don't do that. As much as I can avoid it, it's like using AWS, Amazon. You can't avoid it. It's the internet. But they're competing against piracy, which the CEO of Steam, Gabe Newell, does not. He's publicly stated many times he does not have a problem with piracy because he sees piracy as a distribution problem.
It's a market floor.
It's not a product problem. They're competing against gray market. Let me get you deep into the woods. So what gray market is how, okay, we live here in supposedly a first world country called America, right? So the standard price for a video game now is $70, like for a AAA, big budget game. Actually, that's about It feels expensive now because we're in like our wages should be. That's another issue. Our wages should be much higher. The game should be $70 because that's like it's kept up, but our wages should be making more money. Is what I'm trying to say. Exactly.
Groceries are like out of control.
Exactly. But so in America and other first world countries, Europe, places in Europe, places in like Japan, I don't know, the UK, Germany, Italy, Spain, that's kind of supposedly first world countries. They can sell it for $70. But what you cannot do is you cannot take that same game and sell it in Romania for $70. You have to sell it for $20 there, right? Because you can only sell it for what the market will bear. So they want to make some money in these other countries. So what people figured out they can do is they can get the license keys, the Romanian license keys, but these things are globally used. Like they don't have a region lock on them. And then so a game that sells for retail, they can get the key in Romania, sell it retail to somebody in the United States for $30. That's what the gray market is. So you're not pirating, but you're not getting it the way that you're supposed to either. It's not illegal, but so my point is they're competing with all these different things. But if you're talking about the big three, Nintendo, Sony, and Microsoft, you are buying into a walled garden when you buy one of their consoles, or they don't even want to sell you consoles anymore. They want to try to lease you one because these things are so expensive now. That's the next thing coming down the pipe, but I digress. So you're already buying into their walled garden. So now your two choices are you buy from their online store or you buy from a shrinking number of retail locations. And now that price is set by not only the publisher or the developer of the software, it's set by the big three, and they can charge whatever they want. Nintendo is the king of this. It's called it's a meme. It's called the Nintendo tax. Yeah. So that's why Nintendo never has sales, and when they do,
to be concrete about it, like if even a third-party game that you buy on, for example, Steam. Right, you could buy. I'm making some numbers up, so don't like hold me to these exacts. But like a game like was huge last year, something like Dispatch, right? Dispatch was a huge game last year. It was like won a bunch of awards and whatever. You can probably find it for like $40 on Steam, and you'll get it for like $60 on Nintendo. And also, like if you buy it on Nintendo, at least this is initial. I know they patched it out, but like there's like nudity and language in that game that basically Nintendo just censored and wouldn't even allow their people to like turn on and off.
So the reason why that is because at least Steam, I'm not so familiar with good old games and Epic and stuff like that, so I don't want to be completely wrong, but I'm sure they work in the same way. You've got to think of Steam as
at least.
Steam is a consignment shop. They don't care. Those prices are set by the publisher. Mm-hmm. They don't care what you sell it for as long as they get their massive cut.
They're just a marketplace.
They're just a consignment store. So with that being said, that's why those prices, there's always a sale. Publishers are like, hey, we got this new thing coming out. We've put something new in the game. We'll drop the game price to get more activity in the game or whatever. It's whatever they decide.
And by the way, like this, it is. We're not going to say that Steam isn't predatory. Like they use these sales or whatever. Like I don't know. I have 200 or something Steam games that I was like, I got a deal on this, right. And I've just never touched them or opened them or played them. You know what I mean?
Sure, and that's part of
their business model.
Yeah, but that's not even that's a whole broader thing. I wouldn't even call that predatory. I'd push back on you with that.
Okay,
that's a thing that the reason why people have Steam libraries that they're digital hoarders is because it's not because they're the pricing, like you can't call something dropping in price predatory. The reason why is because the way that people are consuming this media now, they're consuming it as a third space. So what I want to get back onto why Steam isn't the devil, but
I'm not saying that they are.
But I just want to get this out real quick. The reason, and it's a broader problem with video games, is that these games, there's no such, how people complain how there's no tight What happened to the tight 90-minute movie? Why is every movie the Odyssey now? Why is every movie a 4-hour Marvel movie that I need to know I need to watch 20 movies before? Because that's the only movies that they've decided to make money. So video gaming is like that too. So it doesn't matter. Just to give you, again, I'm trying to keep this to like WHIV radio listeners. Yeah. I know you guys who are listening, you're old enough. You as far as a cultural phenomenon, you understand what World of Warcraft is, right? World of Warcraft, people complain about this game all day. This game has been running for almost 30 years now. I think it's 30 years. People complain about this game. There's different iterations of the game. They'll tell you it's terrible, but they've been paying that subscription for decades. And then people are like, well, what if it's terrible? Why didn't somebody make a better game? It doesn't matter if they make a better game. This is no longer a game. This is a lifestyle brand. This is a third space that you can make a better war. That's why there's no World of Warcraft 2. You can make a better World of Warcraft. You and I could spend the next decade and make a game that's absolutely better than that game. And it's already been done. But the problem is this thing is such a third space. It's no longer a game. It's a place to hang out in. There's no way for us to get our friends to play this new thing because they have a sunk cost. I don't even call it a fallacy. It's sunk cost of decades into this other thing. It's the local, it's the bowling alley, it's the bar, it's the library, it's the thing that people used to do back in physical space, and now they just do it in a digital space. But allow me to digress. The reason why Steam is so different and the reason why their idea of their digital media is so much better, Gabe Newell, the CEO, says, I have a kill switch. You can look this up, Google it, whatever. He's got a kill switch that if something happens to Valve and something happens to Steam and it goes away, I don't know, whatever reason why they go bankrupt, they just decide to stop running the business or whatever. He says at the press of a button, I can make it so you can download your whole library and it's all on your hard drive forever. And when you buy a game there, it is your game forever. The difference between that and the other and the big three is the games that you buy are not your games. You are buying a license to play the game.
You're renting it, essentially.
Not even renting, because you're just buying the license that can be revoked for any reason at any time. This isn't even a hypothetical thing.
It's in the TOS.
Yeah, the DC. It's in the terms of service. Exactly. This isn't even a hypothetical thing. The reason why people are so mad at Sony after the no physical disc thing they came out with is because people bought movies that can only play on their PlayStation on their Sony account that were Studio Canal, stuff like Terminator 2, stuff like that. And then they lost the license for that. Those movies are gone. You paid for that. You paid to own this thing. You were told you had ownership. And no, you do not. You only have a license. So that brings it to the whole thing of if buying isn't owning, then piracy isn't stealing. And that's why I personally have no qualms with piracy with these companies. But I'm not even a thing. Like, people like digital media. People want to hold it. People want to collect it or whatever.
Physical media, you mean?
Yeah, physical media. That's what I meant. I'm sorry. I'm not even that guy. But I want the option. All I want, if you're going to come out with digital only in any media, I, as the consumer, want a cut of that. And what I mean is, if the going rate is $70, then you need to sell me that disc. Sell me that ones and zeros that you're transferring onto my computer, because you did not have to press a disc. You did not have to put it in a storefront. I need that for $65 now, at a minimum, right? And then also, I need to have ownership over this. And that is the real issue with digital media, and how we're just all, it's, you'll own nothing and you'll like it. That's what we're all getting. Everything Uber, everything, rent, the whole world is now subscription based. You can't buy software anymore. And they try to say it's because of piracy, but that's not the case. It's because, Adobe, Microsoft, Coral, all these other software companies figured out that they can make much more money over the long term by just selling you the license to this stuff, which people are still pirating it to this day. But the people who are trying to not, who have moral qualms about stealing stuff are just getting hosed because they're not buying the software that they used to, and they can't own it. That's the real issue. And if you think this is just a video game issue and you're like, I don't care about what a bunch of no, this is coming to you. Everything will be rent to never own. And because that is how to satisfy shareholder value.
Yeah. Because it's not about providing the service, it's about making the money. The service is just a byproduct of that, which is like fundamental to capitalism. Like, you provide this service not because that service is a good to people. Like, if that just happens to be the case, then that's just good for everybody. But the thing with capitalism is that the objective is not to provide that service necessarily. The objective is to make the money, and that's what we're talking about here. And when we're talking about it's basically turning. I mean, Xbox already has this, right? Don't they have basically an Xbox Live service where instead of buying games, you just pay a subscription fee and you can just play games online, like over a streaming service or whatever?
Yes,
like,
they do.
That's something that already exists, and that's 100%, like 100% profit model for Sony. I mean, not for Sony, for Microsoft, because they don't have to provide the physical media that would go out there to anybody. They still have to bear the development costs or whatever, but like that's only on studios that they own or that they fund. They can also just bring in third party stuff and handle it that way. Like, it's.
And the issue with that is, ironically, it's the reason why PlayStation, Sony had a service like that for a while. I think they still do.
It crashed and burned, I think.
It crashed and burned. The reason why, ironically, is because now they're no longer.
Google had Luna. Remember Luna?
I remember Luna. Amazon. No, it's Amazon Luna and Google Stadia. Stadia was a disaster.
Now and then, check out Steph Sterling's video on that one. Yeah. That was classic.
Every now and then I'll fire up a game on Amazon Luna. But yeah, because you get stuff with your Amazon Prime account or whatever. But the issue is, the reason why those streaming services didn't take off, and the reason why they're crashing and burning is, one,
except for Microsoft. Microsoft's doing okay.
No, they're not.
Compared to the other ones.
The Microsoft, it's a complete failure because they've acquired so many studios, and they're not getting the return on investment that they wanted from their Xbox streaming division. The reason why, there's two main reasons why this is. One, it's because in the United States, our internet sucks. Like, if you've ever been to another developed country, go somewhere in Europe, go somewhere in Asia, and like,
I played Mass Effect on the Xbox streaming service or whatever, and like there was entire like long periods of time where it was just like I just wanted to pull my hair out.
It's pixelated. It's a slideshow. It's terrible. It's because our internet is so bad here in the United States. So that's one reason. But the main reason why those services crash and burn is because now you're talking about what I talked about, the walled garden before. Now they have to compete, ironically, with actual capitalism. They don't get to hide behind their walled garden of their game boxes, their consoles, their PlayStations, their Xboxes. Now they have to compete with Steam. Now they have to compete with piracy. Now they have to compete with everybody else, and so
everything else on a computer.
Yeah,
they can't. With YouTube, they have to compete with Twitch. They have to compete with Twitter or whatever else is on your computer.
And they're not providing a service that's as good for the cost that it costs them to keep the lights on or whatever. But that's what it is. And I'm for one, I'm like here for it because like I want a new video game crash. It's been coming. It needs to happen again. The video game crash when we were kids, when the Atari got gutted because it was just a rush of just garbage games for like really cheap that undercut the market. We got the Nintendo Entertainment System out of that. So it's like this needs to happen because the problem is either let's say that the only people making any kind of sustainable money, and when I say people, I'm not talking about companies, I'm talking about the actual workers, the laborers, are people making these small teams making indie games and publishing it themselves.
They're like owner operators in a lot.
Yeah, they're owner operators.
They're like the artisan class of video games.
Because if you tried to do again, God, this is just such a broader issue with like millennials. We're the first generation where like the social contract.
We saw the rug. We saw the rug get pulled out from under us. And we're like, what the hell?
So if you were like, let's say you were, a young person, and you're like, my passion is to code. My passion is to is to make video games. I want to be in the video game industry. And you tried to do it the quote unquote right way, the way that would make your, parents proud. You went to college and got like a computer engineering degree. Mm-hmm. You learned like a million different coding languages, and you go get a job at Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, or one of these studios that make games to go on those boxes. Okay, great. Now you've got a job that you can put on your resume and say, like, I work at Bethesda. I work for Blizzard. I work for BioWare, whatever. These huge heavy hitters.
Rip BioWare.
Yeah.
By the way.
So here's your prospects. Here's what happens to you. You work 80-hour at a minimum weeks under just insane slave-like conditions.
Crunch.
Yeah, insane, slavery-like conditions. And then you finally get to the end of a development cycle. The game comes out. Now, one of two things are going to happen. Either that game is going to, let's say that game costs the studio $50 million to make. And then it brings back, it flops, and it only brings in 10 million. Okay, well, that's a flop. The whole studio's getting liquidated. If one of the big three own you, Microsoft, Sony, Nintendo, because that's what happens when a studio gets big, popular, they cut out, they get acquired. What's going to happen after a flop? They're going to try to get back some of their shareholder value, and they're going to liquidate that whole studio, and you're getting fired. That sucks. That's capitalism, right? Because you failed. You made a game that the market rejected.
The Veilguard, for example.
Anything. It didn't matter. You made a game that the market rejected. They didn't want anything to do with it. You failed. Capitalism. The market picks the winners and losers, right? Yeah. You got to pull yourself up by your bootstraps and just make a superior product. That's what our parents told us. Okay. So let's say you're on the other end of that equation, and you work at one of these studios that get acquired by one of the big three. And you make a game that becomes the new cultural icon, the new Madden, the new Call of Duty, the new Fortnite, the new whatever. And you know what happens to you then? Well, what happens is, again, we must maximize shareholder value. That whole studio is getting liquidated, and you're getting fired. So either way, you're out of a job. It doesn't matter if the market chose you and said, and you were successful or it wasn't, you're going to be out of a job either way. And you're just trying to go hand to mouth from studio to studio, trying to cobble enough money together to pay your bills, working 80+ hour weeks. Ain't capitalism grand? Like, that is not sustainable. So now people figured out the only thing that, like, hey, if I just live a modest life, and I get 10 of my friends together, or I'm a solo developer and I make one game. Let's say like there's a game called Stardew Valley, which is a huge hit made by one guy. He's not the only person that's ever done this.
Super Giant Games is another good example.
You make one game, and as a solo developer, you make
Undertale. Toby Fox is another good example.
Yeah. You make, I don't know, $100,000 off of it. Well, now that's $100,000 that you can quit your day job and then go make more games. And now you can live
that game forever, or you can develop that one game forever, like what his name is, Concerned Ape.
Concerned Ape.
Like,
that's
literally,
that.
He's like, I'll make another game or whatever, but I'm just going to continue developing.
Well, because he's just living in his house. He's got another game coming called Chocolate Star.
Yeah, that game's been like announced or whatever for like a decade.
But no, that's
chocolatier. You think about the
that's it. Yeah. But that's what it is. And so like this isn't sustainable. Like it's just not. And I'm ready for the crash. I'm ready for the crash. We're gonna get better art out of it. The big three are going to crash and burn. Maybe Nintendo will survive. I don't know. But maybe somebody else will rise and have a business model that is sustainable under capitalism. I don't see how that's going to work. But I'm ready for it. I want it to happen. I want better art. I'm tired of playing 50 million Call of Duty clones or 50 million Fortnite clones. Like it's just it's no fun. It's no good. I was looking at going back to my third spaces argument. The reason why people are playing these games and they're using them as social third spaces. There was some kind of Steam survey that they did, and they were like, okay, the games that the people have the most hours in are games that are 6 years plus old.
I believe that.
So these are just like digital hangout places where people are just hanging out with their friends.
Who playing Rust or something?
Yeah, because there's only
Grand Theft Auto 5.
Yeah, exactly. Because there's no tight 6-hour games anymore. Yeah. Just like there's no tight 90-minute movies.
Remember bottom of the hour WHIVLP New Orleans 102.3. Remember when there was the Grand Theft Auto role playing, people were creating content.
It's going on right now.
It's still happening.
I found out making this weird birding birding game that I made, where you identify birds. I found out that people are birding. They're bird watching in Cowboy Grand Theft Auto, in Red Dead Redemption.
I believe
there is a subset of people that are only using that game for that. And I'm like, I guess I got to re-download this game. I'm like, man, this game's great. Yeah, I forgot.
Grand Theft Auto 5, dude. There's no way. There is no way that Grand Theft Auto 6 can ever be as good as Grand Theft Auto 5. There's no way.
Well, right? It won't be. Well, we're gonna get deep into the weeds now.
Let's get into it.
Here's why.
Okay, let's talk about Grand Theft Auto 5 for a minute. Okay. Grand Theft Auto 5 is a game where people still in 2026 play the online. They don't just play the online. They mess around in essentially create these entire characters for themselves and create content around it. Right. It is so ridiculous that there was essentially a single engine that was created that was allowed for it. And you were mentioning there are sharks in the deep water in that game, and there are fish if you dive down, and there's birds in the sky. What could surpass that? We're past the point of diminishing returns, right?
Well, nothing. That's not even a technical issue. The problem, there's a deep problem with that game, and it goes into the very beginning of this whole conversation when I was talking about Chinese pay to win mobile gaming. Grand Theft Auto, God bless the people who are having their own role play fun in that game, but Grand Theft Auto 5 is not as good as Grand Theft Auto 4. And I'm talking about the base game. And the reason why is because the base game is ignored. So everything can go, all the development time goes into the online that is used to sell their in-game currency.
Yes.
That's what happened.
It's a storefront.
Yeah, it's a storefront. So that's why Grand Theft Auto 6 on the single player. I keep hearing all this stuff about single player. I do not believe it. They're saying how great it's going to be. I don't. That it's going to be how deep it is. It's going to be it's really all the stuff we heard about Cyberpunk. God, we're going deep into the video game weeds of how immersive the game was going to be. I was no, there's no way that Take-Two Entertainment is going to put that kind of immersive content into their offline single player game.
No,
if that is going to all that development is going to be pushed to online because that's what the shareholders.
That's where people hang out.
Wire. Another reason why people say, going back to the same company made that Red Dead Redemption 2, which is people uses the cowboy birding simulator. It's cowboy. It's Grand Theft Horse. It's the Grand Theft Auto Cowboy Edition, right? Yeah. That is one of the best video games ever made. People wonder why it got so little attention from the studio as far as updates and new things to the game. The problem was they figured out they hit a brick wall. We can't sell people stuff infinitely online like we can in Grand Theft Auto, because in Grand Theft Auto, it's a dystopian satire game where we're bound by nothing. We can sell people their own private rocket boots or, whatever. You can jet around the city. You can't do that in the cowboy game. So they ran out of stuff to sell you.
Yeah.
So
you can only have a wagon that goes so fast.
So they just abandoned the game. They abandoned the game. Period. Straight up. So there was not. That's why a game.
They ran out of ideas. They couldn't get a dock. They couldn't get a dock from Back to the Future pushing the train to move the DeLorean to go to back to 1985.
Oh, I'm sure discussions were had. in the studios. I'm honestly surprised that they just didn't do that. I'm honestly surprised that the same studio who made things like Grand Theft Auto and things like the Riot Simulator, State of Emergency, and games like Manhunt showed restraint in that game and let it breathe and let it be. I don't know. I think it's that and Deus Ex, I think, are the best video games of all time. Mm-hmm. But I'm really shocked. But they abandoned the game because people were like, we're clamoring for deals for downloadable content. We're clamoring. We want this. We want that. And it's like there was nothing to make money off of in there. Mm-hmm. So, because people wanted a slower experience. When people fool around in that game, they want to find a bear den, or they want to look at birds, or they want to ride the train everywhere. Like those are the kind of experiences people want. It's a much slower experience, and they don't know how to monetize that. And that's what we're at. That's the capitalism, baby.
No. Well, I also remember we're just like way deep into it, and I can't help myself. But like, I can't also think about it as like a fighting games player, like the state of that, which is essentially like the only thing that you could sell when it comes to fighting games are new characters, skins, and like stages.
Are you okay with that? Because you're much more of a I am much more of a fighting game person than 99% of the population, and you're much more of a fighting game person.
Well, I just still play them. You don't play them anymore.
Yeah, I don't play them anymore. But like, are you okay with that? Because I personally am.
Yeah, I'm totally fine with that. Like, give me some new characters, freshen it up a little bit. Like, give me like Tifa, I guess. Like, that's fine. Put Tifa in Street Fighter 6. I don't care. Create a couple of new characters. Just like keep it interesting. Like the whole point of a fighting game is to just like, basically just beat somebody up or get beat up. Yeah. And so like I really don't care if I'm grind. Like I've been playing Street Fighter 6 for some time. I'm like, oh, I'm Diamond 2 pushing to get Diamond 3, and that's just fine for me. Like that's what I do.
I mean, I noticed with Street Fighter anyway, there are a couple little I'm completely. There are a couple of dirty things that the company who makes
the battle passes I don't like.
Capcom does. There's a couple little dirty things that they do that I don't like, but like on the most part, I'm like, yeah, this is a product that if the players expect it to be supported for a decade, then that's what we're talking about.
Street Fighter 6 is going to be supported for a very long time.
Yeah, with Street Fighter, it's like a decade. It seems like they come out with another Mortal Kombat every other day. But with Street Fighters, like people expect that to be supported for a decade. Well, then like you got to put some money in there. You got to put you got to put quarters. You got to put quarters in the machine. Mm-hmm. So it's like and you'll have to tell me if they're doing this, because this is a real question. I don't know, but I know I don't like how if they release a new character, you cannot train against that character what we in the fighting game, the FGC fighting game community called labbing, to figure out how to beat that character in practice. Mm-hmm. I'm not saying you should be able to like even play as that character, and no, actually you should. I think in a training room situation, you should be able to play as that character, and then you should be able to learn how their moves work without buying them. No? Why?
I'm pretty sure.
Why? No, I mean you do, but I don't like that. I feel that's predatory. I feel like that's dirty.
it's predatory.
Just don't let me play as them in the story mode. Obviously, I can't play as them online, but in the training situation, I should be able to know how this character works. So when I go, because let's say, okay,
I don't agree with it. I don't agree with it, but
yeah,
like, this is how it is, you know.
Because if I'm playing that game and they come out with a character I have no interest in. I've seen the trailer. I have no interest in that character at all. But I know other people are going to have interest in that character, and I'm playing against other people. I need to know what that character can do, so I can plan against it. Second thing, and I don't know. I know they do that because they did that. I'm not in the Street Fighter 6. I know they did that with 5. The second thing that is dirty, and I don't know if they do. This is a question. Do they come out with new character just came out, and this character has crazy moves, crazy overpowered, and then once everybody buys them, now they start bringing them back in and making them in line with the rest of the roster. League of Legends, Riot Gaming is famous for this. And it's one of the reasons I quit the game, and that's a depression simulator. Too.
So like Street Fighter. First off, I've never played League of Legends.
Oh God, don't ever.
I've never associated with anyone who's ever played League of Legends.
It's awful. I pumped so many hours into that trash.
However, they do have a Street. They have a fighting game, a League of Legends based.
Yeah.
Game,
It's okay. It's whatever.
It's okay. It's popular, but like it's not as good as Street Fighter 6 is kind of the gold standard. Guilty Gear is really good for me. But like I will say that like the last and again in the weeds, the last time they really did what you're describing is sort of like create a character that's like super overtuned and then like they didn't even nerf him back into the ground to like bring him back to earth. They just left him that way because he was almost like a promotion for Street Fighter 6. Is Luke?
Oh, they did. I was still bodying people because everybody had Luke. That was one of them things to where it wasn't even like I had no interest in playing in Luke. I had no interest in playing that guy at all. But so many people played him. I got to see him all the time. Yeah, and I was bodying that dude. That dude is so readable. Like
it was overpowered, and when a good player's playing Luke, they're very difficult to beat. If a bad player's playing Luke, you can whip their ass.
It's just a bunch of telegraph moves. But they did that. I remember that
because he was just overtuned. He was just like way overtuned, and the reason was because he was going to be the main character in Street Fighter 6. Which I mean, like, look, maybe that's scummy, maybe it's not, I don't know. But scummy. Like it's smart in terms of like promoting the next game, which fine. You know, whatever. I don't care.
No, it's scummy because what happens
it's scummy. I'm not
what happens if he flops? What happens if he just gets rejected? Now you spent that's what happened with the Dread guy, whatever his name is. I can't remember his name from 5, who was supposed to be like the poster boy for 5. Nikali, yeah. What happens if he just gets rejected? Now you've pumped all this. You know, you just look stupid. But I mean, I don't know. Is Luke even played in 6? Like people.
He's a very good character in 6.
Yeah, people like he's got good buttons. That's interesting. But so that's
he's not anywhere near as overpowered as he was. And I will say in terms of like how characters have been sort of brought into 6, they've been fairly balanced, and I'll say that also, like just generally speaking, except for Ryu, in that game, they gave him a gun with his solar plexus move. They've been pretty like conservative in terms of like how they tweak characters generally, which annoys me as a Zangief / Manon player.
Well, to align this with like other forms of why capitalism ruins everything, even this discussion we're having right now, this very like in the weeds online discussion about one single fighting game, and how it's just like online sports betting. It's like to where sports betting has ruined capitalism, and sports betting has the prevalence has ruined sports because it makes every single outcome of a game nobody trusts it. Like it's all like everything is suspect now. And like yes or no, sure. Like I'm sure that there's guys out there point shaving whatever, but our whole leagues, that's a whole nother thing. Our whole leagues like doing no, they're not. But whatever. But it doesn't even matter.
Like Daigo versus like MNRD.
Well, my point is, it doesn't even matter if it's because of the capitalism, because of the sports betting. It makes it ruins sports for the common man. We're having a discussion of like, well, why did they make a video game character like this? Was it because it wasn't an artistic choice? Yeah. Or are they trying to squeeze more money out of me in the short run? Mm-hmm. And it's how it just ruins everything. Mm-hmm. Capitalism ruins everything.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, that's undeniably true.
Yeah, so it's like you can't trust.
But I will say, playing Zangief in Street Fighter 6 is fun.
I'm sure it is, weirdo. I mean, I don't know. I used to play like I was a Balrog main in 5.
Nice.
Because he just like he keeps things simple, and I understand the appeal of Zangief. It's like I'm gonna try
love grab.
I'm gonna try. It just keeps it. Yeah, it's just simple. It's like I'm gonna try to close with you, please. Like you can try to stop me to where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna punch. I'm gonna keep you away with the punchy guy who can't throw kicks, who has no projectile. I'm gonna keep you away with punches, and I'm gonna get close to you. I'm like a boxer. I'm gonna bob in and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. So it just keeps things simple. Mm-hmm. But yeah, just everything sucks, man.
Everything like, computer, everything capitalism,
everything's super bad. Did you see the Haley Stevens crash out on Twitter?
Buddy, I didn't tell you this. For work on Tuesday, this is like the day after this show is going to come out, I'm actually going to be in Michigan on election day.
So Abdul will be winning. Like he's going to win.
So tell me what happened. What happened with this? What crash out are you talking about?
She just like posted this weird.
Haley Stevens, person who's running against Abdul Al-Sayed for Senate in Michigan, in response to a video that he essentially was saying, like called her out for being bought and paid for, right, or a terrible candidate or something like that. Did a epic crash out, and Robert's going to describe it right now.
I'm trying to find it right now because it verges on racism. It verges on like the election's not until Tuesday, and like she is just like she's already conceding, but in a way that's like disgusting. See if you can find. Let's see if I can.
I got it.
Okay, please
describe it, and I'll pull it up.
It's just like she's saying you're going to lose to the Republican, and I'm like. Damn, I'm like, the election's not until Tuesday. You giving it up already?
All right, here's a quote from Abdul. Abdul says he's basically calling out AIPAC, which is like the Israel like Zionist lobby, right? He says, this is a quote from Abdul. He says, "You picked Haley Stevens, the least capable candidate in America. If you think you can beat money out of politics, put money in your pocket, Medicare for all, come. I'll tell you what people don't want. Money in a foreign government." So he's basically making the argument that if you're he's making the argument that says that I'm against foreign wars. I want to spend the money that we raise in taxes on the people of Michigan, on Medicare for all, and like not have billionaires control our elections. Like that's basically what he's running on. And if you want to challenge me on that, then come for it, which is that's a pretty baller thing to say. As a politician. And here's Haley Stevens' response on Twitter. It's a quote tweet of this video that he did on the Amani Universe from Muslim Girl or whatever. YouTube video that she did. It's like 20-minute interview. It's worth watching. Go check it out. But here's can I do the voice?
Please.
Would it be embarrassing if I do the voice?
I mean, if it's a good one.
Abdul, we're both on the ballot in 2018, and I was capable of winning my competitive primary and general election. You lost, which he's describing, by the way, is when he ran for governor against current sitting governor of Michigan, Gretchen Whitmer, who is probably I actually have some regard for Gretchen Whitmer because she was in part responsible, along with the legislature, responsible for rolling back right to work in the state of Virginia, which is awesome. Right to work is bad for workers, but she's also very, very bad in terms of Zionism, very corporately owned, and very problematic in a lot of ways. But and in this election, she endorsed Haley Stevens, who is like an absolute like Zionist like puppet, right? Anyway, you lost by over 20 points. Oh, and by the way, Gretchen Whitmer right now is the mostly famous for having gone to the White House to like for something involving like promoting Michigan and like hiding her face.
Yes.
You know the picture that I'm talking about?
Because she didn't want to be seen with Trump.
Not wanting to be seen with Trump, which is just like, yeah, you're definitely going to take that picture. So it's like a picture of her holding like books and like binders in front of her face, which is very funny. You lost by over 20 points to Gretchen Whitmer, and you will lose to Mike Rogers by talking like this. Everyone in America understands you want to blame all your problems on Jewish Americans, which, by the way,
that's crazy. What a thing to say, bro.
Did he even say Jewish Americans? He's saying AIPAC, which is a lobby for a foreign government.
I just like, and it's like, it's the idea of she's not even. So I used to be really torn by her because I'd be like, well, I can understand she's
the folksy
stupid.
thing.
I mean, no. I mean, like, she's stupid, but she's a bad politician. But I can understand where she's coming from because it's like she's like the last vestiges of like a dying liberal class. It's like she did all the right things. She worked for Obama. She, and now it's like it's my time. It's her time, and she's like, I don't understand how I'm getting jumped in line by this guy. It's like I kind of feel bad for her, but now it's like I don't, because this is who she really is. She's disgusting and she's a racist. Because forget being like Islamophobic or hating on Abdul or whatever. She thinks that like she talks about Jewish people the same way that like about Jewish American voters, the same way that like white politicians talk about black voters in the South. Like she thinks like, oh, if I can just get all these dumb Jews in line to vote for me and say the right things, then I'll win. And it's like the same way that we get pandered to as black people by the Democratic Party. And they're just like, well, I don't have to bring you any values. All I have to do is say I've got hot sauce in my bag. I don't have to bring you a policy. All I have to do is just come down and just do the Cupid shuffle in South Carolina, and Jeb Clyburn is going to give me his endorsement because all you dumb blacks are going to come vote for me. She's incredibly racist, man. She's so disgusting. Like I as a Jewish American voter, like in even if you were leaning towards her in Michigan, like you cannot vote for her. Like she loathes you. I would hate to see what she says about Jews behind their back, especially with the race going for her like this.
Yeah, and like just shout out to, like you mentioned, the way that black politics are described in the United States. Shout out to Jason and Pascal from the This Is Revolution podcast, because they talk about this like nonstop on the show. Just sort of like the way that like black politics, and specifically Jim Clyburn, who you just name checked, talk about like the way that black politics in America manifests. And I know I'm going to get crap for this because I'm a white guy saying it, but it's 100% true. And I'm literally cribbing like two amazing black like intellectuals that talk about this, content creators, Jason Miles and Pascal Robert. But like the black politics is a politics of control and containment in this country, and by that I mean it's like somebody like Clyburn is essentially somebody that is rolled out to essentially get all of the folks that are in the community to get with a Democratic platform, no matter how corporate it is. It doesn't really matter. It is a politics that goes back to Booker T. Washington. That is essentially a ruling class politics that is maintaining like hegemony over this sort of like identity cohort that is it's not in the interest of any working class person, no matter what race they come from. And this is the exact same thing that we're seeing from Haley Stevens when it relates to Jewish Americans. And she's getting $60 million from AIPAC and the Israel lobby, again, a lobby of a foreign government, to do the exact same thing. And it's no mistake and no secret that the Democratic establishment, which contains the Israel lobby and also the sort of like the Jim Clyburn sort of like progressive Black Caucus part of Democratic Party. They are united against Abdul al-Sayed.
Right. And I know it's like, I was like, we're not syndicated in Michigan, but man, if I could talk to even like a Jewish liberal and like in Michigan who hasn't decided who to vote for yet, it's like, all I can say is like, she's at it. Like, I don't even like, let's, all cards on the table.
Free Palestine. How does this make you feel? Just ask them, how does this make you feel?
Saying, free Palestine till it's backwards and all that. But forget about me. I'm just some dummy. But like however you feel about Israel, and if you feel pain over that, over what's going on right there, however you feel about it, I don't even want to know. But she's using your feelings and your pain, trying to weaponize that to keep eating at the AIPAC slush fund. She hates you, dude.
Yep.
I would hate to see what she would say about you.
You're her fleshlight.
Oh, so gross.
But buddy, let me be very clear. I will lower the cost of groceries, ban stock trading for elected officials, stop Trump's abuse of power, and protect Michigan manufacturing. All vagaries, by the way. And you'll just be a celebrity whining. Why does she? I don't understand the celebrity thing. You'll be a celebrity whining and writing books to get even richer. You're part of the complainer class, which what? And looking for your next book or podcast deal, bro. I just want to work for Michigan. Which, by the way. And we have like 2 minutes left.
Yeah.
The calling in the complainer class actually is like super telling on yourself. Like this is how you view anybody who wants
your constituency.
Yeah.
Your constituency, just shut up and vote for me because it's my time. And the idea of just like, by talking they're coming at him the same way that like the McCain campaign came at Obama. Mm-hmm. Which is like, oh, he's just he's a celebrity. He's not folksy enough to like be. It's the same way. Like, oh, this guy, it's racist. It's the racist dog whistle to be like the brown guy is out here. He's a smooth operator, but he's not a real American like me. It
does let you know how shook
she's evil, dude.
It does let you know how shook they are, though. Like, they're absolutely shaking in their boots over this.
Yeah.
And, like, the polling that we're seeing, it is, like, back and forth and whatever. I will say this, and this is coming from somebody who has sort of, like, I've investigated a lot of the, at least, organizing spaces that Abdul has been putting forward, and they're getting the volunteers. Yeah. So if those polls are, and we do gotta get out of here, if those polls are anywhere near like what's accurate,
they are.
The benefit of like you have.
Or she wouldn't have done this. They are.
I'm just saying, like if
her internals have to be dismal.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like those polls, even if they're accurate, like which is as accurate as polls can be or whatever. Like, you actually have to kind of assume that the organizing advantage goes to the side that's got more volunteers. And that's interesting because that never used to be the case. And we need to talk about this more next time. I know I want to talk about Jack about this, our buddy Jack Reno Sweeney, and some others, just because we got to do it. But in this moment, we do got to get out of here. Thank you, Robert, as always. We will be back next week. This is Good Morning Comrade. We love you. Bye-bye.
Abdul victory.